You're picking with your environments and people around you, which means you actually are making better decisions that are centered around you and realizing, you know what, it's okay for me to be selfish. You call me selfish, that's okay, because what you're saying to me and how I'm understanding it is I am aware of self. So because I'm aware of self, I am fulfilling myself and I'm choosing me. I'm putting myself first, and that's okay. Hey you, welcome, Wagwan, Dapin Dapi Makadi, Hola, hey beautiful people. Welcome to the InnerVerses. If you're already part of the tribe, welcome back. Always good to connect with you, always good to see you energetically. We're always here. We see each other. And if this is your first time, welcome to the InnerVerses, your home for spiritual wellness, empowering you to heal your mind, body, and spirit through inner child healing work, spiritual life coaching, and so much more. I am Patience. I am the goddess in chief here at the InnerVerses. I am a spiritual teacher, internal student, because your girl keeps learning and unlearning and relearning, and a mindfulness guide and a psychic medium. All of that to express my passion and purpose in life, which is supporting people in prioritizing themselves, putting themselves first so that they can really nurture the longest relationship they will ever have, which is the one with themselves. You're just gonna keep hearing that because we have that on repeat, okay? So today I wanted to dive into signs that you are healing your inner child wound, because we all get them wounds, honey. We all get them inner child healing wounds. We all got wounds that need healing. First 10 years of our lives, we all would have experienced some level of trauma, whether you want to call it capital T, small t, however, because trauma defined is anything that you would have received too much of, not enough of, or not at all. So it could be you didn't feel that you received a lot of love, or you didn't receive love at all. And that can look like love from your parents. Maybe you didn't feel the love that you really wanted or desired. Maybe actually you were overly cuddled, overly loved, that when you came into the quote unquote real world, you were a bit like, oh, people don't move this way? People don't like that? Oh, you could have had it the other way around, or you also maybe were totally abandoned and you had some abandonment, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally. You didn't receive the nurturing and the holding of space and the holding that you would have desired. So trauma, and that can also extend to society. That can be in schools. Someone might have said to you and you didn't feel seen, you didn't feel heard. One thing that's really, really popular that I hear from a lot of clients, and even for myself, especially being of like Zimbabwean heritage and having grown up in Zimbabwe, it's children are seen, not heard. So if there's visitors as a child, you already know, listen, oh, that's my cue. I'm gone. But repetition of that does put into subconscious of, oh, okay, it's only okay for me to be seen in certain spaces, but not in certain spaces. It's like you start hiding parts of yourself, which is something that your girl had to heal, okay? And also a sign that you're healing, because if you can recognize that, it means you're healing, baby. That's what we're gonna be talking about today in our gathering, is signs that you are healing your inner child wound. Okay, let's get into it. Number one, you no longer fear losing people. But can we just talk about that? You no longer are like, oh, okay, people pleaser who is in recovery, no longer like, oh, okay, if I don't do this, then that person's gonna be upset, they're gonna leave me and all of that. It's like, listen, if you wanna go, you got to go. And actually, the door is open. Can you please exit stage left? You are okay knowing that people are in your life for seasons. Some seasons look like a lifetime. Some of them look like a day. Some of them look like genuinely like 3 months, a quarter, whatever that looks like. You're okay knowing, you know what, we were in each other's lives for this period. We taught each other what we needed to be taught, and now it's time for us to lovingly, in love and forgiveness, separate and go about our own ways. And even that separation can look like, oh, we might still be in touch, but we're not investing that much time with each other like that. So, and you're okay also cutting people off in the best way, because you are choosing yourself. So you're okay cutting off people and energies and situations that actually don't serve you, that don't make you happy, that are triggering to you continuously, people that might actually genuinely be mean or abusive. You're okay knowing, no, I don't need this, I deserve better. So bye. And all of that, when you no longer fear losing people, it means you're getting so good with your boundaries. You're setting clear boundaries, knowing that your boundaries and your standards are for yourself. They're not for other people, they're for yourself. And they actually are good to set boundaries, because not only are you teaching yourself your worth and how you deserve to be treated, you're setting the standard of, this is what I require, this is what I expect, and this is what I am requesting. But those three things have to be done within yourself first. So when you are doing that within yourself, it's so much then easier to explain that to people, or to communicate that to people, or even maintain and monitor. Because something about boundaries is it's easy to set a boundary, but maintaining a boundary, that's where the work is at, okay? So how you know that you are healing is you're okay knowing, oh, okay, well, these are my boundaries. This is what I'm deserving. And if someone pushes that boundary, we may have a conversation about, hey, listen, this is my boundary. And if you are pushing against my boundary, these are the consequences. And that consequence can look like, okay, I am detaching myself mentally, or I'm detaching myself emotionally. We don't see each other as much, or I'm cutting you completely out of my life. Or actually, depending on what the situation, that boundary is, it could look like, no, we're having a conversation about it, and I'm telling you, until you acknowledge that you have jumped over and done a long jump over my boundary, we can't really move forward like that. And if the person doesn't listen, you're like, listen, that's okay, because I know within myself what I am willing to put up with and not put up with. And if you're choosing to go ahead and do your shenanigans, knowing that actually that is not my boundary, that is like going over my boundary, then okay, that's your choice. But for me, in honoring my boundaries, I'm honoring myself. So I gotta choose me, baby. Me or you, it's me. And that's how you know you are absolutely healing. And then nicely, what comes with that as well is not overthinking as much. Because overthinking, a lot of the times, it's a trauma response from when you would have been younger, especially if you would have gone through something where you were fearful of people, fearful of a situation, or maybe you could have experienced some form of like abuse, some form of like trauma to the body, or even mind, some form of like manipulation. That instills fear. And so you start to think of like, right, okay, if I do this, is that then going to impact this person? Is that going to impact this person? All of that. And also some of that actually is rooted in our culture, especially if you're from a community focused culture that is about us and not I. There's such a beauty in being us, but also that means actually you're thinking about everybody else, and you're, especially as a woman, and I'll speak for Zimbabwean culture, as a woman, you're conditioned and taught to put everyone else before yourself. And also on an extension, as part of the patriarchy, because can we do you know, you are taught to women at the moment, and as part of the patriarchy, you know, women are like, oh, okay, yeah, you do for others and not for you. And it's like, no, those days are done, those days are over, no more of that. Okay, if you choose to do so for you, I love that for you, but you have the choice to not put up with that anymore, and to not do that for the sake of pleasing other people. So people pleasing is done, and that wound is nicely healing. We love that for us. People pleasing recovery, anonymous. I love it. And then other thing is you're picking with your environments and people around you, which means you actually are making better decisions that are centered around you, and realizing, you know what, it's okay for me to be selfish. You call me selfish, that's okay, because what you're saying to me and how I'm understanding it is I am aware of self. So because I'm aware of self, I am fulfilling myself, and I'm choosing me, I'm putting myself first. And that's okay. You know, society, the word selfish is thrown around as though it's a negative. No, when you are healing, and a sign that you're healing is when you hear that, you're like, yeah, you know what, you're right. I'm choosing myself in this moment. So thank you for acknowledging that. I love that for me. I love that for you for acknowledging that. Thank you for reflecting that back to myself, because I am proactively working hard in healing the wounds of people pleasing, of overthinking, of not feeling seen not feeling heard and doing for others before me, diminishing myself, diminishing my self-worth, not acknowledging myself. I'm proactively working on letting go of all of that. So yeah, I have changed. And yes, so I am in a space where the self is the priority. And knowing that the self being the priority, everything else extends over that. If I'm okay, if I am good, everyone else is good. Because everyone, all your relationships are a reflection of you. And so if there's one that's a bit higgy-haga, where within you is it higgy-haggery? And that's not to say you control other people's actions or choices, no, not at all. But there is something in you that is willing to put up with that because it's serving something within you. So it's being aware of like, what is that thing? Is it the fear of losing that person? And if that is that fear of losing that person, we're done with them days of fearing to lose people, because what? We've healed. We're healing. We are healed, we're healing, and we continue to heal. And then one of my absolute favorite signs that you are healing is when you can understand, embrace, and are proactive in allowing yourself multiple truths to be true. And when I say that, I mean literally, I'll use myself as an example. My parents chose for me to go to boarding school when I was 7 years old. Now, I absolutely know like they worked hard for the fees. They worked hard to make sure like they were doing that with the best intentions. So I went to the best school. I had the best like educational experience. And at the same time, I hated boarding school. I didn't like it. And those two things can exist together and be okay. I went through so many years where I was really scared to acknowledge that for me. So when, you know, my parents will be talking and bragging about, oh yeah, she went to this boarding school. And even till now, you know, they'll be like, yeah, she went to boarding school. It was so good and all of that. And I'm like, I didn't like it. I wouldn't recommend it to nobody. But I didn't like it. There's so many parts of boarding school that I just erased in my mind because I was like, suck it up, get through it. But I know I didn't like it. And it was so freeing acknowledging that, and a sign that I was healing and I'm healing. So that's something that I always say to my clients and people around me is multiple things can be true at the same time. You can be hurt by someone, but also understand why they did what they did and also where they're coming from. You could be joyful about what's going on for you and at the same time feel some level of maybe like, sadness because maybe it's impacting that person in another way, but actually for you, it's a good thing. You like it. So you can have multiple truths. How I always frame in my mind is I fill in the blank, and this is also okay to know that this fill in the blank, right? So you can have two multiple things going on at the same time, or not even two multiple things, but just multiple things happening. It's the same way, you know, that we all have our own life bubbles. We're all living in our own little bubble, and as a collective, we're a collective bubble, but still we're within our own bubble. So everyone's experience and perception is always going to be very different, and that's okay. And so when you are healing, and the sign that you've healed is knowing like, oh yeah, you know what, everyone is in their bubble, and that's okay. So what works for me may not necessarily work for the other person, but I can understand the intention that they have. But it doesn't mean I have to agree with it, and doesn't mean that I have to go along with it if it's a no for me. Which brings me into I know I said that was my favorite, but this one is a current one that I am like, no, I'm healing. Like, I'm absolutely healing, and I've absolutely have come a long way, because when your no is a no for everybody else, and when your yes is a yes for everybody else, Lord, is it freeing or is it freeing? Again, people please are in recovery. I would used to say yes when I really meant no. And I would just go along to get along. So I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want the FOMO, and I don't want to disappoint like my friends. I don't want to disappoint this person. So I'm going to go and we're going to hang out. But when I'm there, I'm like, oh my God, I really couldn't just been at home. I really could have just been at home minding my business. Oh, actually, I didn't want to do this, but I'm doing it for the greater good and all of that. And it's like, now I'm like, no, I embrace my no. If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. And it's okay. I'm releasing the guilt that has been conditioned. I'm reprogramming with my mind of no. If it's a yes, it's a yes. So yes for me, everybody gets yeses. If it's a no for me, everybody gets no's. And that's okay. And it feels good and it's empowering. When you do it on even like small things, even when you're shopping, you're like, oh no, I don't want that. No. If someone's like, oh, hey, are you free? Can I come over? You're like, actually, no, I just want my space. But today, I just want chilling. Like, I want to see you. I would love to see you, but just not today. Today's a me day. Or vice versa of like, oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, like, let's go ahead because I'm in the energy, I'm in the vibe. Like, let's go ahead and do it. So that has been a game changer for me and continues to be, is the power of no. Because when you don't know your power of your no's and your yes, so when you don't know your power of no, you will stand for a weak yes, and people will continue enjoying your life without your say in it, because you're allowing them to enjoy your life and allowing them to enjoy your energy and your time, but you are just going along to get along, and no more of that. So those are all the signs that you are healing, or some of the signs that you're healing your inner child. Let me know which ones you're like, yep, that's me. And also let me know in the comments, like, and let me know whether it's DMs and also email. Let me know which ones maybe I haven't mentioned that you're like, oh no, you've been learning that too. And also, if you want another episode of this, let me know, another gathering of this, let me know, and we'll definitely get more into it and get into the crux of it. But thank you so much for always supporting, for always showing up. Thank you for joining me in this collective healing journey, and I'm super proud of you for healing your inner child. I'm super proud of us. And until next time, if you need any support in holding space and continuing your journey of inner child healing, call your girl, call me. That's what we do. Go head over to the InnerVerses.co.uk, book a free discovery call where we just get to know each other. It's just like this. We'll just be chatting, although it'll be like in real time. So I'll actually be hearing from you, and it's not like pre-recorded like this. But head over to the InnerVerses.co.uk, check out all the different programs that I offer, all the different services that I offer, and also join the tribe. If you found this of value and if you enjoyed this, please join the tribe, be part of our community, our healing tribe, here to prioritize ourselves as a collective, knowing that when you love yourself, when you nurture the relationship with yourself, everybody else is okay. Because what happens within happens without. So we are doing the inner work. Thank you so much, tribe. I have so much love for you, and I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Keep thriving and keep being in your inner verse. Until next time. Mwah.